I'm Zoe with the Barrie School's 6th grade in Silver Spring, Maryland. We have been studying the Oglala Sioux on the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation, and this is our presentation on it.
As of now, a lot of CSC programs include national organizations that support America's native population. Some of them are the NCIA, Unity, AIGC, Running Strong, and the Indian Law.
To our knowledge, there are no certified charities solely to support Pine Ridge. We strongly believe there should be one.
We're here to share with you all the information that we have learned in the past month while we've been working on the project. We hope that you will consider certifying any or all Pine Ridge charities that apply to the CFC. We also hope that when a Pine Ridge charity is certified, with the information we provide here, we push the combined federal campaign office to ensure that charity is included in as many possible as an option in as many possible local CFC campaigns as possible. And these are some of the charities. Remember, a group that works with volunteers to rebuild houses on Pine Ridge. Backpacks on Pine Ridge. Helps provide school supplies for students on Pine Ridge. One Spirit, an organization that supports children on Pine Ridge. LCE, Lakota Children's Enrichment. And Friends of Pine Ridge. This group works with many Pine Ridge only groups to improve lives on the reservation.
The Oglala Sioux are a Plains Native American tribe that has been forced under the Pine Ridge Indian Reservation. This is the flag of the Oglala Sioux Nation. They are considered to be the last tribe that the U.S. overtook in their journey west.
The Oglala Sioux used to be nomads, so they traveled everywhere and all around, and they all followed the buffalo, and that was their sacred animal that they believed in. And so, here's a picture of the buffalo, and as they were following the buffalo, they would set up teepees, and they would take them down. Set them up, take them down. And here's a picture of one of the teepees. They held many ceremonies to their god, Tonka, and they sacrificed almost everything to him. And they believe in him as a great spirit, like a god. Every summer they have Sundance, and that's a ceremony where they have all the tribes gather in one place. And as you can see, here's a picture of Sundance. They have these huge poles, and attached to the poles are these hooks. And they put them in their body, and they lean back as far as they can, and they take the skin that sacrifices to Tonka, and they put them in the fire. And as they're being lit, they have special pipes that they smoke, and they sing songs, they dance, and to make sure that they receive their prayers.
What was their traditional government like? The traditional Oglala government was based on two things: respecting the four virtues: bravery, fortitude, integrity, and generosity. The basic unit of government is the Tayospe. It is responsible for keeping people true to these values. The Tayospe is like an extended family to the Oglala people. This is saying a lot because family was one of the most important parts of their traditional culture.
In 1851, the first treaty of Fort Laramie was agreed upon. It made the boundaries for the Siouxland. If the treaty had not been broken, the U.S. would have looked like this today. As you can see, the Lakota land would have been huge.
But when the Transcontinental Railroad was constructed, the quickest way to get to the West Coast was to go straight through the center of the Lakota land. Then in 1868, the second Treaty of Fort Laramie was made. It gave complete sovereignty of the Black Hills to the Sioux and gave them full land and hunting rights. But in 1874, we break the treaty again when gold is found in the Black Hills.
Another important event in Sioux history was the Woodybe Massacre. Aaron Huey is a photographer, and he spent years documenting and building relationships with the Oglala Sioux on Pine Ridge Reservation. He recently gave a talk about his experience there, and this is what he has to say about the Woodybe and its impact on Sioux history.
1890, a date I believe to be the most important in this slideshow. This is the year of the Woodybe Massacre. On December 29th, U.S. troops surrounded a Sioux encampment at Wounded Knee Creek and massacred Chief Bigfoot and 300 prisoners of war. Using a new rapid-fire weapon and fired exploding shells called a Hotchkiss gun. For this so-called battle, 20 Congressional Medals of Honor for Valor were given to the 7th Cavalry. To this day, this is the most Medals of Honor ever awarded for a single battle. More Medals of Honor were given for the indiscriminate slaughter of women and children than for any battle in World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, or Afghanistan. The Woodybe Massacre is considered the end of the Indian Wars. Whenever I visit the site of the mass grave at Wounded Knee, I see it not just as a grave for the Lakota or for the Sioux, but as a grave for all indigenous peoples. The holy man Black Elk said, "I did not know then how much was ended. When I look back now from this high hill of my old age, I can still see the butchered women and children lying heaped and scattered all along the Crooked Gulch. As plain as when I saw them with eyes still young. And I can see that something else died there in the bloody mud and was buried in the blizzard. A people's dream died there, and it was a beautiful dream. With this event, a new era in Native American history began. Everything can be measured before Wounded Knee and after, because it was in this moment, with the fingers on the triggers of the Hotchkiss guns, that the U.S. government openly declared its position on Native rights. They were tired of treaties. They were tired of sacred hills. They were tired of ghost dances. They were tired of all the inconveniences of the Sioux. So they brought out their cannons. "You want to be an Indian now?" they said. Finger on the trigger.
The relationship with the U.S. government, between the U.S. government and the Oglala Sioux, is strained because of the U.S. breaking breaking a lot of treaties with the Oglala Sioux in the past, and also the constant change of possession of the Black Hills because of the treaties. The BIA, which stands for Bureau of Indian Affairs, is the organization which is responsible for all the Native reservations and stuff like that in the U.S., which includes Pine Ridge Reservation. It's also responsible for 183 schools and 28 tribal colleges. This is their symbol. The BIA was originally part of the Department of War. Now it's part of the Department of the Interior. It was created in 1824.
When the Sioux people were forced onto reservations, the U.S. government tried to get rid of the traditional governments, the languages, the spiritual beliefs, and the practices of the people.
The leadership system that the U.S. government gave them has elections every 2 years. They have 18 council members, and their current president is Brian V. Brewer.
However, a lot of Oglala Sioux continued holding tight to their culture. This means the Sioux don't prefer the government that the USA gave them, so along with many other tribes were forced to give up their language, culture, and traditional governments.
Because of the U.S. breaking a lot of treaties with the Sioux and taking the Black Hills, They took us to court about it. In 1980, the Supreme Court ruled with the Second Treaty of Fort Laramie, which issued the Sioux sovereignty, that it was broken and violated, and the government had to pay them a fine of $106 million. However, the Sioux refused the money and instead demanded that the Black Hills be returned to them. The U.S. said no. The government said no. Today, they still fight about it.
Pine Ridge is also known as Prisoner of War Camp number 334.